Welcome, guys, back to episode 150, 154 of the Michael Lab Show. It's great to be here. It's great to welcome everybody into the new year's. 2021 is going to be a year to remember. 2020 was a year to forget, as I would say. 2020, actually, for me, was a pretty good year. I wonder if I can, take my hair. Go back like that, like I have longer hair. That might look ridiculous. But happy 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed the holidays, stayed safe, didn't get corona. Man, this is it's a weird time right now. You know, like people are ready to just let loose and go out and lose their minds and live a reckless life. But we have to all remember, before we go ahead and live a reckless life, before we go ahead and we run out in the streets, butt-ass naked, and we start doing crazy, crazy things, we have to remember that people are still dying of coronavirus. Coronavirus isn't gone just because a different day on the calendar is presenting every day. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but I do have to say that because I know, at least for the people in my life, there's a spike in the virus. You know, the more and more the older I become, the more that the pandemic rages on, the more and more people I start to realize. I make more connections with people in the medical world, and I realize that it's a battling ground for a lot of people, and it sucks, and there's a lot of ignorance out there. There's a lot of people saying, well, it doesn't matter because of this, or who cares because of that, or the numbers aren't this. Well, I think there's a time to say those things, but I would go out on a limb and ask all these people who are saying masks are useless, who are saying things that it's not a real thing, or that it's not as dangerous as people say it is, or whatever these ignorant malarkey, like that word, malarkey, statements are being said, to switch jobs, just for a day, switch jobs with these people in the medical world. Switch job with these nurses and these doctors, and especially these people who are in their final year of med school or whatever, nursing school, and they're excited to get out of school and possibly find a job at a hospital, do a internship for a while, do a residency, but not bounce right into one of the greatest pandemic we've seen since 1918 during the Spanish flu. I think there's a lot of people out there who are just not being, who are purposely being reckless because they feel that, I don't know what they feel, but a lot of people are purposely being reckless, and I understand freedom, but I also understand we don't want people to die. We don't want people to get sick, and it's, I think it's a pivotal year right now. This is going to be a pivotal 6 months. It seems, obviously every month is a pivotal month when you're dealing with the pandemic, but more than ever, I think people need to put away their political views and that relate to coronavirus. Coronavirus should have no political views. I've heard people say, well, this president could have saved the United States. This person could have eradicated coronavirus, or, this guy, Donald Trump, did a terrible job with it. And I think all that's fine and dandy, and all that's cool. That's fine. That's looking in the rear view mirror, though. At the end of the day, there's not one country in the world that was able to get out of coronavirus unscathed. There's presidents, there's ambassadors, there's people in other countries that are better, I guess, than Donald Trump, as a lot of people would say, and who might argue that. But it's a virus. It doesn't see political views. It doesn't play that game. What it does is it tries to find people and murder them so it can move on to another person and kill another person. And this is evolution. This is what human nature is. This is what being alive is. We fight, we kill things to eat them. We take other creatures. The reason why we murder cows and we murder pigs and we murder fish is so we can eat their nutrients, so we can survive longer. This is the same reason why ticks go and try to, do some crazy shit to an animal, so they can survive longer. There's a reason why I like those suicide cricket bacteria things. I'm gonna look this up. Suicide cricket parasite. There's a reason why things like the horsehair worm, known as Paragordius varius, is around, because its whole goal is to murder. It infects a house cricket and then causes it to commit suicide by jumping into a body of water. The worm emerges to make its home in the water. These things exist. Coronavirus is around to kill us, to kill its host, to survive, to spread. And Democrats and Republicans and centrists and whatever your ideology should never play a role in a view of a virus. It should never play a role in a view of a virus. It could play a role a lot of other things: how to balance the budget, which no one knows how to do, but everyone thinks they know how to do; how to make schools the best, which everyone thinks they know how to do, but it's really hard to do. And I'm very excited to have my guest on. I don't want to. I'm gonna have the plan is January 27th. I'm gonna be zooming a gentleman by the name of Richard. He wrote this beautiful book right here, The Color of Law. His name is Richard Rothstein. And we're going to talk about race in the United States, systematic racism. I want to talk about the relationship with drugs, and the impact that it has on racism. I want to talk about the history with the United States government and how that has impacted racism in the modern world. I want to talk about generational wealth gaps and why that exists, why there's such a larger gap in different communities: Hispanics, African Americans. I want to speak to him about a lot of different topics. I want to get it from an expert. That was a tangent, but that's who I plan on having the podcast, which is incredible for me to even, someone who's I'm not even college educated yet. I don't have a degree yet. I'm educated in college more than most people because I've been in college way too long. But I'm very excited to just sit down and listen to this man talk to me, and it's probably going to be over Zoom. But it's going to be one very exciting thing that 2021 is going to have. And that's going to be a Kickstarter, I think, to having a lot of, having guests on the podcast, interesting people, a lot of academics. I love intelligent people. So that's one thing I'm very excited to get ramped up in 2021. But the other thing I am excited for the summer. I'm excited to get vaccinated. I'm going to get vaccinated. I know a lot of people are taking these like hard stances against vaccines, and it's confusing. I had a conversation with someone who's really close to me, and they're planning to get the vaccine, but they were very skeptical of the vaccine, and I can kind of understand it. It makes sense because the vaccine it came out very quickly. 9 months, 10 months, 11, whatever it is, 9, 10 months. And it can worry a lot of people. And then when a lot of people interject their conspiracy theories and a lot of people interject these false narratives and this disinformation against these vaccines, yeah, it can be scary for somebody who maybe is ill-advised to both sides, and maybe doesn't really trust academia, doesn't really trust science for whatever reason, if they're religious or whatever the reason is. And I'm not saying those people are wrong. I would never say that I would never say that they're wrong. But what I will say is that usually I think it's very important for people to, right now, more than ever, to think about, what do you want? Like, what do you want out of the future? What do you want for 2021? You want to be able to travel. You want to be able to do the things you want to do. You want to be able to see family. You want to be able to go to restaurants. What I'm starting to realize is everyone just wants to go out and eat. Like, that's, for me personally, all I want to do again is literally the only thing I want to do again is go to movie theaters. I love movie theaters. They're the best thing. I love just sitting there, creepy, in my own little private seat with a Diet Coke and just watching a terrific movie. But we want all these things, but in order to get those things, we have to play our parts. And I know a lot of people, I struggle with this because the issue with disinformation, the issue with people who criticize scientists who are even near COVID, or these businesses, or anything that has anything to do with coronavirus. The reason why I think a lot of these people make up these conspiracy theories, or a lot of people think that they're not being told the whole truth, is because, for one, I think these people, they just don't have an exciting life, so they have to find excitement somewhere else. Two, they're not fulfilled. And three, I think it's an education thing. Now, if you just think about it logically, if you think, I don't want you to take me down, but if you think about it logically, a lot of people would say, well, they created the virus so they can create these vaccines. These vaccines can make money for very rich, elite people. Just, that's kind of like a quick little, preview of it. And I get it if you've lived a life where you think you've tried really hard and you've constantly been put down by people who are richer than you, by people who have more power than you. You grow up to want to attack these people because you think it's not fair, and you think that they have what you should have. So if an opportunity, my hair looks terrible. As you can tell, I'm very self-conscious about it. So you want what they have, because the playing field wasn't fair to start out with, and I totally get it. I understand where they're coming from. But you also have to understand that in order for this thing to be a real conspiracy, you would have to get the entire world to agree to fake coronavirus. They fake these numbers, fake these deaths, get all these doctors on board. And when all these doctors get on board, they all say, oh yeah, this is fake, blah, blah, blah. You would have to get all these companies to spend millions and millions, if not billions of dollars for R&D, research and development, to figure out how to stop the virus. You would have to, and then you would also have to set up millions and millions, because millions of people have been vaccinated. You would have to set up millions and millions of people who are just willing to just get the vaccine. But the reality is that in this world that we live in, we have people that run on a spectrum here. And this is what I think makes America, this is what to me, what makes the world so beautiful, and more specifically, sapiens, human beings. This is what makes us so unique, is that we run on such a spectrum. We have that person who has been the scientist since day one, researching the hell out of coronavirus. How do we stop coronavirus? Imagine that. Imagine, like, here's a DIY. Now, you want to make a table, but instead of making a table, your DIY is, here's a virus that we know a little bit about, but kill it. Like, fight it. What do you start? Like, how do you start with something like that? But there's people that live in this world, and for whatever reasons, if it's out of the money that they can make, the bonuses they can get, if it's strictly out of their love and passion to just develop new things to fight to better medicine, or if it's because they want to get the recognition, or they're just straight up crazy people and they just like to fix things. Whatever the reason is, we have people that live in this world who are willing to just put their head down for 7, 8, 9, 10 straight months and just work their ass off to look for a vaccine to save the world. Like, I think that is so beautiful, and I think we're we get so caught up in looking for the bad guy, the easy guy, the person who we have to blame, because there should always be someone to blame. That we forget about these amazing human beings that are out there missing time with their family, and they're just working so hard to save people. And I hear this shit all the time, and I've said it, and it's funny. It's a joke at certain times. If you play it the right way, it's funny. It's funny. But I hear people say, well, they're like 90, who cares, they're gonna die anyways. I've said that on this podcast before. I know it's a joke, but it's also, if we care about humanity, we want humanity to be as beautiful as possible. Those people are what keep humanity beautiful, I think. People who are 85, 90, 95 years old, those people a lot of them are angry people, but a lot of them keep the younger generation, I think, balanced, in my opinion. Like, when my grandmother was alive, that was the person I went to whenever things were like confusing. She would just, because she's lived longer than I have. She's lived longer than most people I knew. And I think every life matters, and all lives do matter. And we can't just write off a whole generation. And I think the virus, yes, it kills those people more and more than any other population. But I think there's a residue effect. If I don't know if it's karma or whatever you want to call it, but there is something that happens if you just let a certain group of the world just pass away, just die. I think there's bad karma in that, So I think it's important for us to spend this year really concentrating on trying to reduce the virus as much as we can. I know somebody very personal to me who she's basically saying, like, yeah, the reason why the vaccine continues to spread is because people feel invincible around family. And they just go to families' houses. They have family over, really good friends. They just have them over with no mask on. And then that's on Friday. And on Monday, they wake up, they're severely sick. They go get tested, and they have positive results. And somebody dies. And somebody passes away. And I think that's very sad. That's very sad. I was being told this story by this person, and she was saying, like, someone came in, they got tested, and the guy was saying that his wife was currently in the hospital, and she had it for like 4 or 5 days, and she ended up going to the hospital. Older, 65, 70 years old, but in the world that we live in, still 30 to 25 years left. Like a decent amount of time left on Earth. And he came in to get tested because he started feeling symptoms, and it's terrible. It's terrible. You got to think about those people who can't. If she's in the hospital, being able to see family in the hospital keeps a lot of people alive, especially if it's your husband or wife. And there's so many people right now who are not being able to see a significant other. Or not being able to see mommy or daddy, or their son or their daughter, and they're dying from something that it may not be preventable, but is definitely you can reduce the percentage of you getting it tremendously if you follow a few steps. And that's just my 2 cents on that. And I don't want people to think that. Well, F it. I don't care if people think I'm this way or that way or whatever it is. I know for me, I don't want the people I love to die. And if I can reduce the chances of that, I will take a step, and I will reduce those chances as much as I possibly can. And if it won't kill you, you could kill somebody with it. And I think that is an important thing to say. And I think the bigger my podcast gets, I feel like it is my responsibility to say things that I think are for the greater good. I've listened to a lot of my podcasts back, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, and Jesus Christ, I don't know what I was talking. I still don't know what I'm talking about, but the oh my God, the everything, the quality, the image, the sound, it's just not that good. It's just not that good. And and I wasn't confident. But now I think I'm 154 episodes in. I have 154, 153, 154 episodes in. This is my third year doing the podcast, 19, 20, and 21. I think it's my responsibility to get on here and let people honestly know what I think. I think you should wear a mask. I think you should reduce the amount of interactions you have with people. I think you should get the vaccine. I think you should do that because it's the right thing to do. But if you don't do it, who am I to tell you what you should and shouldn't do? But God, that's why I have a podcast, and that's why I get on here, and I say what I want, and I'm proud to have a page this big where I feel like I can actually make a semi-change. But that's that. That's just my little rant. Just a little rant. It's World Carnivore Month. I cheated like a sack of potatoes that I am, no pun intended. On January 3rd, I broke down. I didn't break down like emotionally, but I broke down with I ate too much. I ate too much, man. I was feeling not depressed that day, just kind of like like it was the weather. I went out to go run. I didn't run. I came back. I just filled my tire up with air. I came back home. I got into bed. I took my shirt off. I had this terrible rash underneath my left armpit, and it hurts like a mother effer. Like, it hurts so bad. I got it from running, because when I run, my right arm is a little bit lower than my left arm, and I throw my right arm, like I wiggle it around like this, except below my waist. And I do that because my arms get tired. But when I do it, it pulls my shirt over a little bit, and it got stuck up in my armpit. Look like I'm grabbing my tit there. It got stuck up in my armpit. When it got stuck up in my armpit, that's when I got the rash. And it sucks. It doesn't feel good. So I just kind of took the day off. What did I do on Sunday the 3rd? I ate. I didn't go crazy on the carbs because I'm reading the Carnivore Cure, and when I'm reading it, I feel like I should only be reading it when I'm eating carnivore. So that day I read it a little bit, but I feel like I'm like cheating on the book. I feel like I'm cheating on Judy Cho, who's somebody I would love to get on the podcast. But I said F it, and I went ahead and I bought. I went to Wawa. I haven't bought food in so long because I have all these Wawa gift cards, and I promised myself that I wouldn't. Sorry, adjusting myself in my chair. It's especially sorry for the guys on YouTube who watch me just struggle like a stupid ape. I promised myself that I wouldn't just spend all the food. I wouldn't just spend all my Wawa gift cards on food. Which I really haven't. It's been more energy drinks. But I've been spending it just on gas to save money. Shit, what was I saying? Oh, I digress. Oh yeah, so I went to Wawa and I got a Frappuccino, a mocha caramel Frappuccino, 16 ounce. So normally I would go crazy and get like a 32 ounce, but I didn't do it. I had control of my impulse, which is a huge progress. Shout out to my therapist. I'm learning. Shout out to Taylor. Look, I'm learning. I got 2 sausage and hash brown cheese egg breakfast burritos, which are amazing. I had 2 of those. I had a coffee roll, which is pretty large. It's probably about 8 inches. Probably about 6 to 7 inches diameter, or 3 to 3.5 inches radius. But yeah, probably 6 to 7 inches diameter. I had that, the Frappuccino, the 2 sausage burritos. Ate that. I felt pretty good. I was tired, so I laid in bed. I took my shirt off because that's the only way to lay in bed is with no shirt, no socks, just running shorts. I got 1 pair of running shorts for Christmas that I love. The other one I love too, but they're just a little bit too short. Like, they're just a little bit too short where I feel slightly exposed. Just maybe they're just a little bit too tight. Maybe I just got to lose a little bit more weight. Like, I'm consistently around 190 now, which is like that's pretty low for me, and I'm gonna stay there for hopefully like I never get like above 210 again. Like I like this weight. I feel decently strong. I feel like my cardio is getting better every day. I feel like at this weight I am confident to take off my shirt. I kind of have a six pack. The bottom two are like if I lost 5 more pounds, I think I'd have a pretty good physique. I feel so dumb talking about my physique. Like I feel like I have this hypothesis that, and this is I hope this doesn't offend people. I don't think it should offend people because I think if it does offend you, maybe it applies to you. But if it doesn't offend you, it means that you understand, and if you understand, that probably means that you're doing pretty well. But I feel like for me, the more and more I get into actual like taking care of my life, so like finances, relationship, mental health, my physique, it's not that I don't care about it anymore, but it kind of just falls in line with everything else. Whereas I used to try so hard to better my physique that everything else would fall apart. But now I've taken the technique where I flip it and I make everything else better in my life. I work really hard on everything else it's actually flipped it. So now that I think my physique just naturally aligns itself with health. And I think it's also a lot because of carnivore. I know what to eat. I'm slowly stopped tracking my calories. By doing that, I feel like I'm taking the chain off my ankles so I can just eat when I want, how much I want. Some days I might have 3,200 calories. Some days I might have, 2,000 calories, but I just fast until like 12. I eat one big meal and then I have like 2 or 3 miniature meals on the days I work. If I don't, I just have one big meal and then I have one more big meal around 8 when I go over to my girlfriend's family's house for dinner. And it feels good. I feel like I'm finally starting to get back my freedom. I'm finally starting to win the war with food. And even like even on the 3rd, even on Sunday when I did have carbs, I had like pasta, a couple hush puppies. I did have a pint of Ben and Jerry's. I kind of snapped at the end. But besides that, it was good. Even that wasn't too crazy. Like I probably had about 3,500 calories that day, maybe that much, probably closer to 3,000. Whereas before, Jesus Christ, my cheat days I would try to get at least like 8,000 in. And they're expensive, dude. They're so expensive. Like cheat days are expensive. Cheat days are expensive. What else? Oh yeah. So I watched a few documentaries. One of my friends sent me a documentary to watch on Bitcoin because I don't know if you guys know too much about Bitcoin. I know nothing about Bitcoin. So that's why I had to watch a documentary on it. I have a few friends who are invested in Bitcoin and they get very, very excited when Bitcoin does well. Elon Musk is a troll and he enjoys saying he is the CEO of Dogecoin. But I watched this documentary on Bitcoin. I did that for like an hour and a half, just chilling. And then I watched another documentary on what was it? I think it's called like the UDP, Amazon UDP. No, Amazon documentary on jail. No, on what was it? It was people who on crazy people. I don't want to say crazy people. I'm gonna say crazy people. On crazy people. It sounds so. Oh yeah, unit of difficult patients. That's what it was. It's really cool. I didn't finish it. I've got an hour left. But it's a really cool documentary. An extraordinary documentary about the impressive unit of difficult patients in a psychiatric hospital. We take you behind the doors, the facility, and takes care of some of the most dangerous patients suffering from heavy mental disorders needing 24-hour civilian. A lot of people liked it. I think I like 4 stars on Amazon, which I think is pretty good. I believe some of them were over medicated. I've seen people with OCD, bipolar, ADHD, and schizophrenia. But yeah, it was a good documentary. So I went ahead and watched that. It really puts a lot of things in perspective. You don't realize, like especially now. I guess this is a pretty serious topic I'm about to get into. But like especially now when you see these homeless people, the homeless numbers are basically they're climbing everywhere. Even where I live in Annapolis, which is a predominantly low homeless population. Even where I live, you can start driving up, some major roads like Bestgate Road in Annapolis is, probably one of the more major roads, West Street, Bestgate, Main Street, Forest Drive in Annapolis. And even that road, you can see like this village off into the forest for like, I don't know, like a tenth of a mile, 2/10 of a mile, maybe a quarter mile of just tents just lined behind the trees, far enough where people don't see it. But as I'm running, I can see it. And when I'm running, I'm moving for like a minute, 2 minutes, and it's to the, maybe not 2 minutes, but like a minute, it's to the left of me. And just trash everywhere, and these tents are everywhere, and these people come out periodically to panhandle. And you really ponder about what this pandemic has done to like people's psyches. You know how many people are just every day they wake up, they're just one incident away from losing it, from killing somebody, from killing themselves, from just saying F it and getting a huge divorce, from just moving away, from just selling everything. There's people like that every day right now, people who own things and they're losing it. They're losing it. And you can just see the image. This part of the road was a year ago. If I ran through it, there was nobody, there was no homeless there. There was nothing. There was just trees, and you just start to realize how many people are walking the world right now who have debilitating mental illness, debilitating schizophrenia, psychosis, anxiety, and it just takes that one incident to just flip your entire world that you knew it upside down on its head. Jordan Peterson talks about it. He says there's the turn to chaos, or the one step to chaos, is always right around the corner. And it's the most real thing in the world because it's so true. You spend so much time trying to create a world that's as stable as possible for you, right? You try so hard to increase the percentage of you achieving a stability, life that branches out of stability. You spend your whole life trying to do that. But chaos is just right around the corner. Hell is right around the corner. It's literally knocking on your door every second of the day. And I think this is what this virus has done. It's been that knock for somebody. It's been that person who's in the kitchen just barely getting by. They're making their coffee. They're finishing up their breakfast sandwich, and they're going to the job they hate, but they're still doing it. And maybe there's a chance for them getting a pay raise, and they're just barely getting by. And then as they go to walk out their apartment door, they say bye to their dog. They go to the job that they hate, but they're still doing it. They're still doing it. They feel at least like a somewhat productive person in the world. And then they go to walk out their apartment door. As they turn around, lock the door, they turn around from the door to walk down the hallway. Boom. They get hit in the face with the fucking... Sorry. God damn it. I shouldn't be cussing. I'm trying to decrease my cursing so I can go higher on the YouTube algorithm. But then they get hit with the coronavirus. And the coronavirus says, no, that's fine, but your job's gone. You got to work from Zoom now. You still have your job, but you got to work from Zoom now. So now you don't have any social time anymore at work. You don't even get to make that drive, which is the one thing that made you feel decent because at least you're out in nature. And you lose it. And then you get fired. But you're like, why did I get fired? I'm on Zoom. I can't spread the disease from my house, the sickness from my house. Well, we got to cut costs, we got to cut costs. It's expensive to run a business. and you're just another piece to the puzzle. We got to get rid of you. Sorry, Jack. We got to let you go, Jack. The next thing you know, Jack is on the corner. Jack's on the corner because Jack just didn't make it. And we got to realize that this is a very sensitive time right now in our country's history, and I think the whole world. And it is very conflicting, and I think that it should be the opposite. It won't be the opposite, but it should be the opposite. We got to understand that as being a human being, as being an individual, we have a diversity of opinions on things. We have a diversity of viewpoints on everything. We all have different upbringings. We come from different parts of the world. We come from different, social statuses. We come from different economical backgrounds. We have different goals. We have different viewpoints on everything. We have to learn how to just open up and just, give everyone's ideas a hug, and some of them are very radical and I don't think they should be spread, but I think on the far majority, we don't give people enough credit. We don't give love enough credit. We don't give humanity enough credit. And it makes me sad because humanity is so beautiful. Humanity has built everything that you see around you. It's built everything that you see around you. And along the way of the construction of the world, there has been groups of people who have suffered. All of us have suffered. There's been people who've suffered more than others, but people suffer every day. And I think at the end of the day, what makes us all super unique is that we all have the opinion to think about something in a completely different way. The freedom to do that is never going to be stripped away. So when someone says something to you that just seems so off the wall, instead of you saying, "What are you talking about? You're dumb, you're stupid, you're not smart," whatever it is, you should be like, "Damn, man, I didn't think of it like that." Or maybe you should be like, "That's crazy. I would never say that, but I don't know what they've been through. I don't know who they are as a person." Empathy needs to win. We need to come together as a country. We need to come together as people. We need to kick this thing in the ass. We need to take the vaccines. Like, Jesus Christ, I don't know why we're the same people who are so upset about vaccines are the same people who, if you asked them, "Did you vaccinate your kids?" "Yeah, I did." "Hey, did you take the flu shot?" "Yeah, you did." "Yeah, I did." "So what's wrong with the vaccine?" I don't know. "I don't know. It's new." I don't know." "What do you mean you don't know? So why would you just not take it?" I don't know. I mean, I'm the biggest hypocrite because I haven't taken the flu vaccine in years, man. And, I should, right? I should take the flu vaccine. I'm going to take the coronavirus vaccine. I just want people to, I don't know. I miss peace. I miss happiness. I miss going out and just getting a freaking huge steak and watching the football game, eating chicken wings. Like, dude, that would be so clutch right now. Getting chicken wings and watching the football game because I can eat chicken wings right now. But yeah, that's that. I don't really have too much more to talk about. Shorter episode today, just barely over 40 minutes. Yeah, I don't think I really have too much more to talk about. The playoffs start next weekend, which there's another episode coming out Thursday, so I'll go ahead and talk about it then. Oh yeah, I did want to just add one thing at the end. We hit a huge milestone for this podcast. So this podcast gets thousands of listens a month. If you combine YouTube and audio. December, we broke 1,000 downloads plus. We got more than 1,000 downloads in 1 month on this podcast. And that is something that I never thought was possible. If I go here and I look at my Libsyn, which is what I use for my my podcast data collecting, and if I can go, I don't know if I can do this. If I go all the way back to, let's go back to October. Let's go back to July, August of 2019. That's what I'm doing. August 2019, October. Let's run these details. I don't know how I can tell. How can I tell? I want to see how many listens this podcast got a full year ago. Oh, we added Venezuela. Thank you so much, Venezuela, for showing me love. I mean, Brazil. Jesus, I'm so dumb. I should know that. Finland showing love out there too. I love you, people. You guys are the best. Seriously, you guys are the best. I don't know if I can. Maybe I can't. No, that's not what I want either. Jesus, I just want to see. Let's do. I'm gonna go back to the first month I had a podcast ever. July 1st. I'm just gonna pull up the month of July in 2019 and see how many downloads I got. 6. That can't be right. Let's try August because maybe I didn't have a full. August 2019. Let's try maybe September. I feel like I should have got more than that, maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. September 30th. Cool. So yeah. Let me go back. I'm gonna do that again. I just set it up wrong. August 1st, 2019. August 31st of 2019. I had 61 downloads in a month. 61 downloads. Only the United States. 1 listener in the 6 listeners in the United Arabs and Panama. 62 listens. Year and 4 months ago. So it was 16 months ago. That was it. And now we're fast forward 16 months later, 1,000 downloads. 1,000 downloads. What is that? 1,000 divided by 61. It's 17 times growth. And I can't thank you guys enough for that. It's because you guys tune in every single episode. I mean, so many listens each episode, and I'm thankful for every single one of you guys that show me love on the podcast. I cannot do it without you. I cannot book guests like Richard without you. And I'm excited what 2021 takes us when it comes to the podcast, just with everything in general. So that's that. I kept you guys way too long. If you enjoy the podcast, do what you do, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in episode 155 of the show with Michael Labs, which is me. I love you guys so much. Peace out. Check the description below. Get yourself a free stock on Robinhood. Peace out. See ya.